Sarah fed 4 homeless quadruplets every single day, but 10 years later, they came back to find her as billionaires. Sarah was never the kind of woman people remembered at first glance. On a street filled with dust and exhaust, she was just an ordinary woman barely surviving by selling rice and stew. She had no jewelry, no savings, and lived in a cold little shack with a leaking roof. But no matter how hard life got, she woke up before sunrise every day, splashed cold water on her face, tied on her apron, lit the fire, cooked the food, and then stood by her broken wooden table at the roadside, waiting for customers. Her business was never great, but she always smiled gently at everyone, because she knew every coin she earned was hope for surviving tomorrow. Then one afternoon, she saw 4 filthy little boys sitting beside an unfinished building across the street. They were identical quadruplets, no more than 10 years old, dressed in torn clothes, barefoot, and so thin they looked like 4 little sticks. They did not beg for food and they did not cry. They just stared at the steaming rice in her pot. In that instant, Sarah's heart shook hard. She remembered being a hungry child herself, watching other people eat. She knew she was poor. She knew the pot of rice was barely enough to sell, but she still could not pretend not to see them. She filled a plate with rice and called the 4 boys over. What she did not expect was that none of them rushed to grab it. Instead, the oldest one, Noah, carefully set the plate on the ground. Then he and his younger brothers, Liam, Mason, and Eli, used their hands to divide the food into 4 equal parts, making sure no one took even 1 bite more than the others. Sarah's eyes filled with tears. For the first time, she realized that even though these 4 boys were living on the streets, they had more dignity than many adults who looked respectable. From that day on, Sarah always saved them a portion of food before closing her stand each afternoon. Sometimes it was leftovers. Sometimes it was something she forced herself to cut out of that day's earnings. Little by little, she got to know them. Liam talked the most and was always asking questions about cars and buses. Mason was the quietest, but he could always tell right away whether she was tired. Eli was the most thoughtful, always checking whether his 3 brothers had food before taking his own share. And Noah, like a little grown man, always kept his 3 brothers behind him, protecting them. But Sarah's kindness did not earn everyone's understanding. Daisy, the woman at the stand next to hers, often mocked her and said she was feeding future criminals. She even called her stupid in front of customers on purpose. Little by little, some customers stopped buying from Sarah. She made less and less money, but she still did not stop, because to her, those 4 children were no longer street kids. They were family she could not let go of. One day, business was so bad that not a single grain of rice was left in the pot. The 4 boys came, said nothing, and just stood there quietly. Sarah's heart ached. She took out the 4 pieces of bread she had saved for her own dinner and put them into their hands. That night, hiding behind the wall, she heard Noah say to his 3 brothers, "One day, we will